Hello. For question one, I would say that the video that was the most impactful or stood out to me the most from class would have to be the video Rise in America's Food Insecurity. The TED Talk was a close second, but I really think that this video put it into perspective for a lot of students because myself personally, I can speak to never seeing cars in line like that waiting for food. It's not something that I've ever witnessed or experienced in my life. And, it showed all the cars in San Antonio that were lined up for food and how much worse COVID has made it. And it was thousands of cars, and seeing that was really eye-opening and impactful. And something from the video that really stood out to me was when they said, there's so much hunger in the richest country of the world. How is there so much hunger in the richest country in the world? And I think that for a lot of us, it's not something that we see in the day-to-day. It's not really something that affects us, but it affects so much of our population that, those people are kind of forgotten about sometimes. And it was really eye-opening. I really did not realize that many people were dealing with food insecurity in America. I didn't think it was that big of an issue here, and that video really opened my eyes to, okay, it is an issue. And it was also very impactful when the guy was walking around apologizing to people, and people, for the long waiting times, and the people were just like, no, thank you, thank you so much for your doing, we really appreciate this. No one was mad at the guy for taking so long with the food, and everyone was just really, really kind about it. And it really opened my eyes to, this is a real issue, and there's people out there that are waiting in line for food, not grocery store lines, car lines that are thousands of cars long. And that's just not something that should be okay in this country, especially for if we are considered the richest nation in the world. I think that we should be able to move past that, and it's kind of appalling to see something like that and to really have it put in front of you like that. It makes you feel almost kind of guilty as a person for not realizing that this is an issue. So for question two, what can public health professionals, healthcare leaders, and organizations do to advance the concept of food as medicine in support of those in need? And then not just during COVID-19 pandemic, but after all, I was kind of thinking about this as from the TED Talk with Jeremy. And I mean, obviously there's a lot more that organizations can do and bigger people, but he was one person that decided to go out and make a difference. It wasn't in his grand scheme of things. It wasn't something he wanted to do since a child, but he saw a need and he filled the need. And I think the most impactful thing that I took from the class is that you can't make the people go to you. You have to go to the people. I think that that's something that a lot of people aren't really thinking about these days. When you think about food swamps and food deserts, like we talked about in class, for food deserts, people might not have the means of transportation or the means of acquiring and financing transportation to make it to places where they need to eat healthy. They have to go what is feasible for their, the time they have to go out and get food. So if that's going to a gas station, a convenience store, fast food, that's what's in their time limit, that's what's in their price range, then that's where they're going to have to go. And I think the concept of taking the food to the people is very, very, very important. And it was evident in what Jeremy talked about. I feel like that would almost be, evidence-based practice. For, obviously, they mentioned there was 18 food deserts in St. Louis. And, he started doing things like that. He got a bus and took it to the people. He did storage containers and put them in more accessible locations for people. And I think as healthcare professionals and leaders, that's something we really need to promote is the people can't always come to you. The people can't always travel to healthy foods. It is very, very important that you go to the people. You meet them where they're at. And that was what I took away from me in the future working in healthcare and dealing with food insecurity. Well, people have all these options. They're just not going to them. We can't do anything about that. You can go to the people. That is an option. It's been done in places before. And, I think that would be the time when I'd pull up that TED Talk and I'd show them Jeremy and go, this guy did this almost for free. He got the bus for free. It can be done. And so that is what I would do as a public health professional. I think that that's what a lot of other people need to be advocating for, getting it to the people. That's very important.